We got a question coming in from Sadrack, who is basically taking the current optimism and projecting it toward a 2001 type zenith in the program, but then also stating, since we've got a great coaching staff, since the recruiting is shaping up as it is, and things look to be similar to 2001 in a few years, that might be a little bit of a stretch. But Cam, what could be the cause of this derailing?
I mean, any one thing, a quarterback not playing to his potential, right? So you're talking a few years down the line. So I'm going to take Tyler Van Dyke out of the scenario, right? Because he's probably only going to be here for 1, maybe 2. So down the line, let's call it somewhere between 4 to 8 years, right? Because you have to build up the depth to get towards those heights and everything. A quarterback not playing to his potential. You see at Clemson already, and I know like, oh, well, they had so many wins and they kind of got through. That roster's still loaded, but it's very clear last year that they did not have the kind of progressional quarterback play that they'd had from every quarterback before that. That's how things start to fall apart. You get a couple untimely major injuries. Maybe it's your quarterback. We saw last year, Derek King went down. Everybody who comes in that scenario is not going to be Tyler Van Dyke. You know what I mean? So, maybe Jake Garcia is fine, but he's not the level of a Tyler Van Dyke or what we saw last year or what it could be next year, right? Or this year. Maybe, you get a couple bad breaks. Maybe you get a bad call here. Maybe you get, somebody does something stupid off campus. I don't wish it on anybody, and I'm not trying to make light of it, but you've seen, unfortunately, there have been times when players have gotten into domestic abuse situations. I know Desmond Demas from Texas A&M, the incredibly talented wide receiver, he's off of their roster for that, And what if something like that were to happen from a very key player, right? What if something were so there's the margins for championships and for the height that Sadrack is talking about in his question, the margins to reach that are very, very incredibly infinitesimally small and thin. It could take one thing. It could take Cleveland Gary not being down in 1988 and clearly scoring but not fumbling, right? But then that call goes the other way, and then you lose that game, okay? And then you get a 20-year-old who's maybe unfocused on a 3rd and 1. Hut jumps off sides the next game against Florida State. You lose that game, and all of a sudden now you lost to Notre Dame, you lost to Florida State in this hypothetical, and that's going to keep you from this in the question. So it's really going to take everything going perfectly to reach that. But to say what could be the cause, it could be any number of things. You're banking on whatever recruit to be the guy at their position. And okay, they're not the guy and somebody else gets injured. And, okay, cool. Well, we try to call a timeout on 3rd and 7 because we're misaligned. And, Mario's running down the sideline. He's trying to get the officials' attention. Doesn't get it. They get a free play. We only have 10 guys on. They score a late touchdown or whatever. Like, you can come up with any kind of scenario, right? So I think that it's a little optimistic for me right now. And I get where we're coming from because we all want the glory days. We lost the second game of my freshman year in 2000, did not lose again until game 7 at North Carolina my senior year. We want those days back. Of course, everybody, myself included. It's going to take a while to get there. So if we're saying, okay, we're going to hit a 2001 best team ever standard, and what could be the one thing that could cause us from not getting there, I would say maybe lower your sights a touch, and then we could have a more fruitful conversation. But yeah, the margins for recreating the greatest team ever are just so small. So small. So any one thing could be the cause.
Sadrack, I can appreciate you shooting for the stars. Understand you've got about the 15th to 20th best team in the country right now. Right. That's good. And you're working toward bettering that, and you're on the right track, but that's about where you are right now.